everyone! Today's video is about breaking up. I'm your professor, Dr. Jennie Rosier. Let's get started. For those of you who have been broken up with before, or those of you who have had to do the breaking up, you know that this is not a pleasant experience. No matter what happens, it's not ever like a happy, wonderful, exciting, fun time. And the reason for that is because almost always someone's feelings are getting hurt. And that can be really difficult to deliver a message where someone's feelings are probably going to get hurt, or to receive a message where your feelings are probably going to get hurt. While there's no perfect way to break up with someone, there are ways that are better than others. Let's start off by talking about what is breaking up. Hopefully not all of you have experience with this, but unfortunately many of you do. Breaking up is any attempt that someone makes to try and end a romantic relationship with someone. It's important to learn about how to more effectively break up with someone because many of us are going to have to do it at some point or another. We are in romantic relationships usually around our teenage years, and we don't usually stop looking for romantic relationships our whole lives. We might find a lifelong partner and stay in that relationship for a really long time. And then we don't have to worry about learning how to break up with someone. But not everything is around forever. Not everything is perfect. And so it's important for us to know how to break things off in a more effective way in case we ever have to do it. Unfortunately, it's really hard to do. It's really hard to do because if we do it wrong, we could hurt someone's feelings. Although I would venture to argue that no matter how you do it, someone's feelings is going to be hurt. But it could really hurt someone's feelings, like send them into a deep depression. If they have mental health issues, it could exacerbate those mental health issues. Could even cause people to be suicidal or homicidal, or damage their attachment foundation that they've been building up to this point in their life. And so we don't want those things to happen. And so we have to work hard at knowing how to effectively break up with someone. I hope that at this point in the semester you've realized that our romantic relationships that we have with other people really mold who we are as humans. And the relationships that we have impact us in both positive and negative ways. And I think that even if you decide that you hate someone and that you don't want to be with them anymore and you're ready to break up, I think that if you were logically thinking about what that person's life would be like post your relationship, I don't think there's many people, I'm not saying there's nobody, but I don't think there's many people who would actually want bad things to happen to their romantic partner that they're breaking up with. You did love them or like them at some point. And so I don't think that we tend to break up and think, oh, I hope that they die, and mean it. You might be angry, you might be upset, but I don't think you actually want bad things to happen to them. And so breaking up is that final communicative effort that tries to end the relationship and hopefully not do too much damage. When you're thinking about breaking up with someone, there's two main steps. The first thing is to figure out what your goal is. Like I said a couple of seconds ago, most people have a goal of wanting to end the relationship, but they don't want to ruin the person's life. I'm not saying that sometimes people don't want to do that. I've wanted to do that before. But for the most part, our goals are, I want to end the relationship. Sometimes we want to stay friends with the person. Sometimes we just want to be, civil with the person. Other times we want to completely cut ties and not speak to them again. Think about what your goals are. You want to hurt their feelings. You want to be heard yourself. You want to make them understand why it is that you're breaking up with them. Really think about what all of your goals are and rank them perhaps. And that's going to help you get to step 2, which is determining which strategy you're going to use. Good for you. The research has found numerous strategies that people tend to use, and they've actually decided which strategy is the most effective for positive results at the end. This first one is called fading away. With this strategy, either one or both people in the relationship just start to not be around each other that much. They just start to fade away, stop having contact or talking to each other about the relationship or talking to each other very much at all about much. And they just kind of fade away until the relationship is really clear that it's over. Fait accompli is when one person wants to end the relationship and they just matter-of-factly say it. The relationship is over. They don't allow the other person to ask questions about why or talk about it in great detail. They're just, this is it. It's over. We're done. There's no discussion. State of the relationship talk is where someone explicitly says, I'm dissatisfied in the relationship. I want it to end. And then both people talk about why and how they should end it and what the relationship problems are and why it has to end. And it's a mutual discussion. Attributional conflict is when one or both people start a conflict argument about why the relationship will eventually end or why it will never work out. And the argument usually gets quite heated, and that is usually the end of the relationship. So it's the argument about the inevitable end that hasn't happened yet that actually becomes the end of the relationship. Cost escalation is really, I want to call it abusive. It's a terrible way to end a relationship. It can really be detrimental to the person that you do it towards. So this is, you want to end the relationship and you decide to increase the costs of being in the relationship with you towards the other person. So it makes it really difficult for the other person to want to be with you. So maybe you increase the costs, like you consume all of their time, you get really jealous, you start being rude or demanding, you start doing things to them that will basically force them to break up with you. And then you're the victim. Withdrawal is kind of where you get ghosted. So you are in a relationship with someone and they want to break up with you, so they start ignoring you and they start not answering your phone calls and they say that they're busy all of the time if they do talk to you, and they just withdraw from the relationship. And this withdrawal creates like where they start avoiding you at all costs. So they might like see you out in public and they avoid you, or they don't go to a party that you're going to go to because they know you're going to be there, and they kind of just ghost you and end the relationship that way. Negotiated farewell is when the two of you have a civil, no conflict discussion about why the relationship should probably end. You tend to both agree that the relationship is near an end, and you end it in a calm and not nasty way. Pseudodeescalation is where you tell your partner that you want a different kind of relationship instead of just breaking up. So you want to break up with them, but you say, I think we would be better as friends. Or I think that we should just have a friends with benefits relationship. You change the relationship. Or I think we should just be casual. When you actually want to break up with them, just break up with them. Just say it's over. Don't try to change the relationship and lead them on a little bit more. Because when you do this, you make people believe that there's this like small chance that you'll get back to that romantic relationship that you had. There are lots of don'ts when you are breaking up with someone. The first one is you really want to avoid breaking up with someone via text or on social media. I used to know someone who was in a 1-year-long relationship and her boyfriend broke up with her. This was, I don't know, a decade ago or something. Her boyfriend broke up with her by changing his status on Facebook to single. And she was like, what's happening? And he said, oh yeah, I think we should break up. So that's not okay. Please just have a conversation with someone. Don't ignore your partner until they get the clue. It's not fair to your partner. And it's really weak and not courageous at all for you. So please, it says a lot about who you are. It's a very, I don't know, it's a very cowardly thing to do. Don't rant and rave about how they ruined the relationship. It takes 2 people to tango. It takes 2 people to have a great relationship, and it takes 2 people to end a relationship. And don't focus the entire conversation on what went wrong. You guys had positive times, and you can talk about those even when you're breaking up with someone. Well, that's a wrap. I'm Dr. Jennie Rosier, Associate Professor of Communication Studies at James Madison University. I'm also the director of the RLH Project. You can find me on Instagram at Relationships Love Happiness or on Facebook at /Relationships Love Happiness. Thanks for watching.